everybody remembers that they've seen us. Like, even after years of not going to these places.
Except for the places that we've lapped, and now there's new people there.
Yeah. So we just went back to a place out in 𝗖𝗵, which is kind of outside the city. Now it's like a new city. But when we were going there, it was like one street surrounded by countryside. And there's a place called 𝗖𝗵cie where we used to go a lot.
We'll put the link or the video somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a little old hole in the wall out in 𝗖𝗵, Luzhou, run by a joyous Luzhou lady who serves the best dumplings. She adds a delicious salty soup in the winter to keep them warm. And there's a choice of edamame or boiled peanuts as a side. She also does noodles and other small dishes, but the dumplings are our favorite. Except for the seasonal fava beans, but they're only available in the spring. It's a neighborhood spot in a neighborhood where not every place has running water. That's part of the charm of both 𝗖𝗵 and 𝗖𝗵cie. We call it 𝗖𝗵cie because she also sells fresh eggs. She'll give you a good deal if you buy a full pallet. Keep your wits about you on the way to the bathroom. It's dark. And kind of outside. We used to call it Old Man Bar because it's the meeting place of all the old men in the neighborhood. They trickle in after dinner to play cards and watch Japanese war dramas on the TV. Once a guy offered to slaughter us a goat here. He showed us his knife to prove he could really do it. 𝗖𝗵cie is always very welcoming to foreigners, but you may have guessed that they don't speak English. Well, the granddaughter does. But she's shy. And 6. The owner is a hard worker and a very good cook. She lives in the back with her husband and granddaughter. If we were there at the right time in the evening, we could catch that happy moment when granddaughter finished her homework and got to go play in the alley. It's possible that this is all gone and 𝗖𝗵 is all new housing developments. But if it's not, check out 𝗖𝗵cie at the end of the alley.
And there was this great little hole in the wall in this little family-run restaurant that the wife made.
Not the link so that you could go, but
I mean,
so you can see the video.
I mean, you can't go to 𝗖𝗵cie anymore because it's in new ownership hands. But yeah, it used to be a good dumpling place, and now it's a good kind of home cooking Sichuan dinner place. And it definitely, the other big change is that like it used to be where all the men sat around and got drunk and ate peanuts, and now maybe they drink, but it's definitely more people are there for eating.
At least one guy was drunk.
Well, that guy was wasted. And in the realm of people who do remember us, I think we have seen him before, and he did not remember us. Because he was that drunk last time, too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen him there before.
Yeah, me too. But he didn't remember us, which I think is funny. But yeah, so it's new owners now, and they seem very nice.
Which is funny to think that like there's a bunch of new old people sitting in the same exact old place.
Yeah. But again, you posited there might be a magical walk back there because the food was just so simple but really, really good.
Yeah.
And we asked for not spicy, so it was like. So I think this is sometimes in bad Sichuan restaurants they just throw a bunch of spice on to cover up that it's not actually that well made.
Yeah.
But so she couldn't hide in that. But everything was like seasoned really well and super flavorful, and the oils were like good oils. So. So I got us kind of a blandish dinner. I got the house tofu. They said it's not too spicy. Potatoes, sprouts, and cold cucumbers. All of it non-spicy.
It's back home.
It's a bummer that it's not her anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess like there was a sneaking suspicion that it was closed before we left.
Because they were they kept closing at weird times and stuff.
Yeah, well, we'd come when they would normally be open, and they wouldn't be open.
Yeah.
And then we did see her on the street one day, I think.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And we're like, we're leaving. And she might have been like, we're leaving too.
Everybody's out of here.
Yeah.
But it's still, they haven't done anything new to the
No, well, I
same
wonder
doors.
if they're relatives or... I mean, it's the same sign, too.
Yeah. The street itself is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like something as
2
simple.
thumbs up. We recommend.
The tofu itself was something, I mean, it was roughly a mapu tofu, but...
Yeah, well, it's called like home style tofu, which every restaurant does. And it's about like this, it's like an orangey spicy sauce, but because it is your home style tofu, every restaurant has their own kind of take on it.
Yeah.
And hers was really good.
Definitely.
Really good.
One that we haven't had before.
Yeah.
And so that was an exciting... Yeah, home style from home to home is pretty exciting in this area because it's all different.
And it was fun. It was fun to go out there because it is like foreigners don't go out there. Of the tens of foreigners who live in Luzhou, none of them are going out there.
Yeah, even our first taxi cab was like faint. He's like, I'm not going out that way, but I mean, he was saying he doesn't know.
Well,
how to
he
get out there.
didn't. He didn't recognize the name of the neighborhood, and then I said the name of our old school where we used to work that was out there, and he didn't. He's like, I don't recognize that. Like you do. You know what number 2 middle school is.
Everyone knows the number 2.
Yeah, but he refused to take us because it was a long drive.
Yeah, I mean, if we were just get into our car and drive out there, it would take like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But that time of day, at dinner time, in a taxi, it's definitely like, oh, this is about as far, except for like going from actual town to town.
Yeah.
Like if we went to, I don't know, whatever what's our next town? Nashi?
Nashi is like
a half an hour away.
Yeah. But we got a text her.
Yeah, but it was met with about that of like, hey, we'll go to dinner.
Yeah.
You're not going out there.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Please. No, you're not.
Yeah, but it was fun to get back there. We were like a little disappointed.
The actual like cab itself cost much more than the dinner itself.
Oh yeah, dinner was 43 kwai and round trip taxi was 60 kwai.
So it's more of a tourist attraction to our old neighborhood than it is, let's go out for a nice dinner.
And we were sad that the original owners weren't there because we wanted to see them again. But we kind of suspected that because before we had stopped going, they were like closing at weird times, and like we saw her out on the street, walking on the street, not on the street. We saw her walking.
Things
around
weren't that
outside.
bad. I think they were moving on up. They were done with because it's it's kind of like a garage with like wooden doors.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not really like a beautiful restaurant or anything.
Yeah, it was literally
again, you'll see
a hole
in the video.
wall. But and because also the whole structure of it is exactly the same. There's just new owners. You said like they hermit crabbed in.
Yeah.
Like they even still have the same tables.
Same TV,
yeah.
Same.
But they painted over. The daughter had graffitied the wall.
Yeah, they have
with her math homework. So yeah, it was new. It was different, and it's always fun to walk into a room and have people freak out like, oh, how's this gonna go? And then just like be able to say what I need in Chinese. So that was.
Especially mapping out from like whatever 6 years ago when we first walked into it, and now we're walking into it. The same exact scenario is happening, but like you can speak Chinese.
Yeah.
Before it was like a couple of wanderers bumbling into a city, a street, a town that they may have never seen a foreigner before.
Just like pointing at stuff on the wall.
And
the menu on the wall.
We're walking in and you're just like, I want that, how's this?
Yeah. Yeah, I could ask like, is this spicy? Oh, it's not too spicy. Okay, that's okay.
Which kind of like took down the level of people kind of. I mean, I would imagine like everyone used to like gather around us because they suspected we couldn't speak anything, so it was fun to like play poke the foreigner and be like, you know this, you know this, you know this. Whereas you walked in, said a few things, and they're all like, a couple of people came over and said, nice job, and good to see you.
And then they went along their way.
Yeah, whereas 5-6 years ago, it was like, that was the evening's events of like, look at what they're doing!
Yeah, except for Drunk Guy. Drunk Guy was fascinated with us. And then
again,
through a combination of his being drunk, his being not from the city, so he had like a really strong accent.
It was definitely strong enough that I can tell, like.
Yeah. I could follow a little what he was trying to say to us, but I also like didn't want to get in a whole drunk conversation. So I was torn between like proving I could do it and like don't encourage this conversation. But at one point he offered to get us a pet, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Wait, no, we don't want a pet. And he's like, but it's this long.
It's a long pet.
Yeah. So I told Peter that he offered to get us a long pet. He did not specify what kind of pet, but he was definitely saying pet, not food. Because he might have been the guy who offered to slaughter a goat for us.
I don't think so. I think that was an older, skinnier guy. But
you might be right about that. But someone did once offer to slaughter us a goat, and we also declined.
It's far out enough where and we couldn't really discern whether that was. Look at what you're eating. I'll go get you a goat, and we could slaughter it here, and we'll have her cook it up for you, or if it's. I'll go chop up a goat and bring you the pieces, and you can take it home.
The wonderful thing was it didn't matter. I didn't want any kind of goat. I didn't want
or a long pet.
Yeah, or a long pet.
But it's definitely far out, and that's kind of in our own foreigner gawking way. One of the fun reasons to go out there is that it's here we can stay in the city and we can go to Starbucks after dinner at a great restaurant.
Yeah.
Or we could spend the extra money that we would spend on a restaurant, go out to the countryside and offer a long pet and some goat pieces.
Yeah.
Like that's your choices of the evening out. And we're not doing karaoke, so sometimes it's actually a lot funner to go out for long pets.
In uncomfortable situations where people offer us animals.
Yeah. Not sure if we can find taxis to come back home.
Yeah.
But that's the excitement. I mean.
That's the adventure.
Yeah. Woohoo!
That's always how I've liked to adventure, is get a little bit lost into a situation that I'm not familiar with and see if I can get out. And so far, I always have been able to.
We're here now.
Haven't died yet. Not here.
But we also don't have a long pet.
Yeah, I don't want any pet.
Damn. Not even a short pet.
I don't want a long pet. I don't want a short pet. I don't want green eggs and ham.